Atlantis, a powerful empire beyond the Pillars of Hercules, a land greater than Libya and Asia Minor combined, rich in gold, silver, and a metal called orichalcum, a glowing red metal said to shine brighter than fire. These words were written by the philosopher Plato more than 2,300 years ago in his works Timaeus and Critias. He claimed the story was not his invention, but history passed down by Egyptian priests to the statesman Solon, and finally to him. Atlantis, he said, was no ordinary island. Its capital city was built in concentric rings of land and sea, 3 of water, 2 of land, connected by canals so large that ships could pass directly into its heart. Bridges spanned the circles, towers and temples rose into the sky, and walls were plated with precious metals that glittered in the sun. At the very center stood a massive temple of Poseidon, the god of the sea, its walls covered with silver, its pinnacle shining with gold. Inside, a statue of Poseidon driving 6 winged horses towered above them all, a reminder that the kings of Atlantis were said to be his descendants. Plato described Atlantis as an empire of incredible power. Their navy was unmatched, their armies vast, and their influence stretched into Europe and Africa. They were builders, engineers, and conquerors. But with wealth came arrogance. The Atlanteans grew greedy and corrupt, and in their pride they challenged the gods themselves. Their punishment was swift and merciless. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis was swallowed by the ocean and disappeared from the face of the earth. For centuries, scholars have debated, was Plato simply crafting an allegory about human pride and downfall, or was he passing down a memory of a lost world that really once existed?
Plato's words hint at more than wealth and power. He describes engineering so advanced it feels impossible for the ancient world. Atlantis was not just a kingdom, it was a marvel of design. Canals cut through the land with precision, carrying water from the sea deep into the heart of the city. Bridges stretched across wide channels, their arches strong enough to hold armies. Massive docks housed fleets of ships that could sail anywhere in the known world. But there are whispers of something greater, knowledge of energy itself. Ancient accounts tell of crystals said to power their cities. These crystals, placed within temples, were believed to capture energy from the sun, the earth, and even the stars. Some stories suggest they lit entire streets, powered tools, and even gave the Atlanteans control over natural forces. Legends speak of orichalcum, the mysterious red gold metal. Plato described it as the second most precious substance after gold. Some believe it was not just decoration, but a conductor of energy, part of a technology we no longer understand. And then there are tales of flying machines, ships that moved without sails, and weapons capable of shaking the earth itself. Could Atlantis have harnessed forces that modern science is only beginning to explore? If true, Atlantis was not simply a lost civilization, it was a world centuries ahead of its time, a world whose secrets may still lie buried beneath the ocean, waiting to be rediscovered.
Atlantis was not an isolated kingdom. Plato described it as an empire, one that reached far beyond its island home. Their fleets ruled the seas, their armies marched across continents. The Atlanteans expanded into Europe, North Africa, and beyond. Some believe they even crossed the Atlantic itself, reaching the Americas thousands of years before Columbus.
clues whisper through history. Ancient ruins in Central and South America bear striking similarities to descriptions of Atlantis. Vast stone temples, intricate canals, and precise architecture. Were these the fingerprints of Atlantean explorers who brought their knowledge to distant lands? Some myths in Egypt and Mesopotamia tell of godlike beings who arrived from across the sea, bringing laws, writing, and architecture. Could these figures have been survivors of Atlantis, carrying fragments of their lost civilization? If true, Atlantis was not just an island, it was the heart of a global network, a power that connected cultures across oceans long before history records such voyages. A civilization hidden in time, yet perhaps still echoing in the myths of every great ancient empire. For centuries, Atlantis prospered. Its kings ruled with wisdom, its cities shone with wealth and knowledge. But prosperity gave birth to arrogance. Plato tells us the Atlanteans became greedy, corrupt, and hungry for more. They no longer honored the gods who had given them power. They sought to conquer the known world, extending their empire beyond what even the gods permitted. It was then, Plato says, that the divine judgment fell. In a single day and night of misfortune, Atlantis was struck by disaster. The earth shook violently, the seas rose higher than ever before, and the island was swallowed whole by the ocean. Some claim it was a volcanic eruption, others a massive earthquake, or even a comet striking the earth. Myths from cultures around the world tell of a great flood, from Mesopotamia's Epic of Gilgamesh to the biblical story of Noah. Were they all memories of the same catastrophe? The mighty empire that once ruled seas and continents vanished, leaving only fragments of memory behind. And Plato ends with chilling words, "And thus Atlantis sank into the sea and disappeared." Was this destruction a natural disaster, or was it something else? Perhaps the silencing of a civilization that had uncovered secrets too great for mankind to hold.
Ever since Plato first spoke of Atlantis, explorers, scholars, and dreamers have searched for it. But where exactly did it sink? Some point to the Mediterranean, the island of Santorini, once destroyed by a volcanic eruption that shattered the Minoan civilization. Its ruins bear similarities to Plato's tale. Could this be Atlantis under another name? Others look to the Atlantic Ocean, beyond the Pillars of Hercules, exactly where Plato said it was. Ancient maps, like the Pieri Race map of 1513, show lands that should not have been known to cartographers of the time. Some believe they were drawn from older Atlantean sources. Still more point south, to Antarctica, hidden beneath miles of ice. Satellite images reveal structures beneath the frozen surface, sparking claims that an ancient city lies buried there. From the Bahamas to the Azores, from the Sahara Desert to the depths of the Atlantic Trench, countless theories exist, yet none have brought absolute proof. The search for Atlantis is not just about geography, it is about uncovering the truth behind one of history's greatest mysteries. And perhaps the secret is that Atlantis never vanished completely, but left fragments scattered across the world.
Long before satellites and modern navigation, ancient maps revealed lands that should not have been known. Some of these maps may hold the key to Atlantis. The Pieri Race map, created in 1513, shows parts of South America and even the icy coast of Antarctica, drawn centuries before explorers officially reached them. The accuracy of these coastlines suggests the map was copied from far older sources, now lost to history. Could these original charts have been Atlantean? Other mysterious maps, like the Orontius Phineus map of 1531, depict Antarctica not covered in ice, but with rivers and mountains. If true, this would mean the map makers had access to knowledge thousands of years ahead of their time. Legends say the Atlanteans were master navigators, crossing oceans freely. If they mapped the world, fragments of their knowledge may have survived, hidden in the libraries of Alexandria, in monastic archives, or even in secret societies guarding ancient wisdom. Perhaps the maps are not just drawings, but the fingerprints of a lost civilization that knew the shape of the world long before history admits it was possible.
If Atlantis was destroyed in a single night, did all its people vanish with it? Or did some escape, carrying fragments of their knowledge into the world? Myths from Egypt speak of wise beings arriving from across the sea, bringing architecture, astronomy, and sacred laws. In Central and South America, legends tell of tall, pale-skinned visitors who appeared after a great flood, teaching agriculture, writing, and mathematics. The Mayans spoke of the god Kulkukan, and the Incas of Viracocha, both described as mysterious men who came from the ocean carrying wisdom. Were they survivors of Atlantis? Even in Greece, stories of gods and demigods descending from the sea echo the same theme, a lost people returning to guide mankind. If survivors did scatter across the globe, their presence may explain why great civilizations suddenly appeared with advanced knowledge, as if it came from nowhere. Perhaps Atlantis never fully died. It simply transformed, its people blending into new cultures, leaving behind myths, monuments, and secrets that still whisper of their origin.
Across the world, ancient monuments defy explanation, as if echoes of a forgotten civilization were carved into stone. The Great Pyramids of Giza, built with such precision that modern engineers still puzzle over their construction. The alignment of their sides matches the stars of Orion's belt, knowledge that should have been beyond the reach of early man. In South America, the walls of Sacsayhuamán in Peru are made of massive stone blocks, cut and fitted so perfectly that not even a knife blade can pass between them. The methods remain a mystery. On the ocean floor near Japan lies the Yonaguni Monument, giant stepped terraces and carved formations that appear to be man-made. Did they belong to a civilization swallowed by the sea? And in the Bahamas, divers discovered the Bimini Road, a line of massive stone blocks stretching underwater as if a roadway once led across land, now drowned by the ocean. Are these scattered ruins proof that survivors of Atlantis spread their knowledge across the globe? Or are they the remains of Atlantis itself, still hidden in plain sight?
Legends of Atlantis often speak of crystals, not as ornaments, but as sources of energy. Some accounts claim the Atlanteans placed enormous crystals at the heart of their temples, where they captured and amplified natural forces, sunlight, magnetism, even vibrations from the earth itself. These crystals supposedly powered their cities, provided light, and fueled machines far beyond our imagination. One legend tells of a great crystal, a massive glowing structure that channeled cosmic energy. Some say it was their ultimate power source, and perhaps their ultimate downfall. Even today, divers exploring the Bermuda Triangle report strange magnetic anomalies, compass malfunctions, and whispers of crystal pyramids resting on the seafloor. Could remnants of Atlantean technology still lie beneath the waves, silently affecting the world above? If true, then the story of Atlantis is not just about a lost empire, but about a civilization that may have unlocked the hidden energies of the Earth itself. Energies we are only beginning to rediscover.
Plato's tale of Atlantis describes a world drowned in a single day and night. But this is not the only story of a great flood. Across the globe, cultures that never met each other all share the same haunting memory: a world destroyed by water. In Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh tells of a flood sent by the gods, wiping out mankind. In the Bible, the story of Noah mirrors the same event, a global deluge that left only a few survivors. In Hindu texts, Manu, the first man, is warned of a great flood and builds a boat to survive. From the Hopi of North America to the myths of the Aztecs, from Africa to Polynesia, everywhere there are stories of a flood that reshaped the earth. Could these all be fragments of the same event? A cataclysm remembered by different peoples, retold in their own languages and symbols? And if so, was Atlantis not just a legend, but the very civilization that perished in that worldwide flood?
Egypt, land of pyramids, hieroglyphs, and eternal mysteries. But some scholars believe its roots may stretch far deeper, into the shadow of Atlantis itself. Plato wrote that the story of Atlantis was passed down to Solon, the Greek lawmaker, by Egyptian priests. They claimed their records preserved the memory of a powerful civilization that vanished beneath the waves thousands of years earlier. The ancient Egyptians themselves spoke of a time before the pharaohs, a mysterious first time, or Zep Tepi, when gods walked the earth and great knowledge was given to mankind. Could this lost golden age have been the survivors of Atlantis, bringing with them architecture, astronomy, and sacred wisdom? The similarities are striking. Vast stone monuments aligned with the stars, advanced mathematics encoded in their structures, and myths of a great cataclysm that destroyed an earlier world. Perhaps Egypt did not rise from the sands alone, but stood upon the shoulders of Atlantis.
When Atlantis fell, did its people truly vanish beneath the sea, or did some survive? Legends across the world speak of mysterious strangers arriving after a great flood. They came from the sea, bearing advanced knowledge, teaching agriculture, astronomy, and architecture to primitive tribes. In Central America, the Maya spoke of Quetzalcoatl, a pale-skinned, bearded teacher who emerged from the ocean. In Mesopotamia, the Sumerians told of Oannes, a half-man, half-fish who rose from the waters to share wisdom. Even in the Pacific, stories of sea kings and star people echo the same theme. Survivors of a drowned homeland carrying fragments of a lost civilization. Were these visitors remnants of Atlantis, spreading their culture to the four corners of the world? Or do these parallel myths simply reflect humanity's shared memory of a cataclysm that changed everything? If even a handful survived, then perhaps Atlantis never truly died.
Some researchers claim Atlantis wasn't just an advanced city. It was a hub of interdimensional travel. Ancient writings describe shimmering gates of light and portals that connected distant lands instantly. Could Atlantis have possessed technology far beyond our comprehension? Something resembling a Stargate? Strange anomalies in the Bermuda Triangle, magnetic distortions, and unexplained disappearances of ships and planes are sometimes linked to these theories. Some believe Atlantis collapsed not from natural disaster,
but from a catastrophic failure of these devices, a tear in reality itself. If true, the Atlanteans may not have perished at all. They may have stepped through the gates, leaving our world behind. And perhaps, one day, they'll return.
Across the world's oceans, divers and explorers whisper about artifacts that don't belong to any known civilization. Stone tablets with symbols that match Plato's descriptions of Atlantis, crystal objects carved with impossible precision, and, most famously, the crystal skulls, believed by some to be Atlantean memory banks holding vast knowledge. In the waters near Bimini, mysterious rectangular stones form what many call the Bimini Road, thought to be the remnants of an Atlantean harbor. Sonar scans reveal shapes buried beneath the seabed, vast structures hidden in silence. But here's the most haunting detail. Every time an artifact is recovered, it vanishes into private collections, government vaults, or is dismissed as a hoax, as if someone doesn't want the truth about Atlantis to ever be known.
Some ancient texts and myths hint that the Atlanteans were not entirely human. Legends describe beings who descended from the sky, sharing knowledge of astronomy, energy, and sacred geometry. The alignment of Atlantis's temples was said to mirror the constellations, just as the pyramids of Egypt mirror Orion's belt. Coincidence, or evidence of a cosmic connection? Whistleblowers from secret programs claimed Atlantis was a colony established by extraterrestrials, who later abandoned it or destroyed it when humanity became too dangerous. Others say the Atlanteans themselves ascended into the stars, leaving Earth behind, waiting for the day humanity was ready to rejoin them. Could the fall of Atlantis be less of a tragedy and more of a departure? Stories tell that Atlantis wasn't just advanced, it was dangerously advanced. Their knowledge of crystals, sound frequencies, and energy grids gave them powers we can barely imagine today. Some say they had crystal towers capable of drawing energy straight from the Earth's magnetic field, powering entire cities without fire or fuel. Others whisper that they experimented with weapons of vibration, devices so powerful they could shatter stone or trigger earthquakes. There are myths that survivors smuggled fragments of this technology to other lands, hiding them in temples beneath the sands of Egypt or deep inside the jungles of Mesoamerica. A few researchers even believe that modern governments have recovered Atlantean relics, reverse engineering them in secret laboratories. Was it this very technology, the misuse of it, that doomed Atlantis to sink beneath the waves?
Atlantis was not just a place of science and power. It was also a land of mystery and spirit. Legends speak of priests who could channel the stars, reading the heavens as if they were books. They believed that every soul carried fragments of the divine, and through sacred rituals, one could unlock hidden abilities. Whispers tell of crystal temples where energy fields pulsed like heartbeats, amplifying meditation and visions. Atlantean initiates were said to walk between worlds, contacting beings from higher realms, gaining knowledge from the stars themselves. Some claim that traces of these practices survived. The mystery schools of Egypt, the teachings of the Druids, and even secret societies of today may still carry echoes of this lost Atlantean wisdom. But the greatest mystery remains. Were these practices meant to enlighten humanity or control it?
When Atlantis sank beneath the waves, did everyone vanish? Or did some survive, carrying with them fragments of their lost world? Legends across the globe suggest survivors spread to distant lands. In Egypt, stories tell of wise teachers arriving from across the sea, bringing knowledge of pyramids and sacred geometry. In Mesoamerica, myths speak of bearded strangers with shining knowledge who came after a great flood. Even in Greece, tales of mysterious foreigners teaching philosophy echo this same pattern. Could the survivors of Atlantis have seeded civilizations with advanced wisdom, mathematics, astronomy, architecture? Perhaps they became the gods and heroes remembered in ancient myths. If true, then the great empires we know today, the Egyptians, the Mayans, even the Greeks, may have been built on the ashes of Atlantis.
If Atlantis was real, why is it only remembered through scattered myths? Could it be that powerful forces work to erase its existence from history? Some researchers believe that ancient empires deliberately destroyed records, fearing the truth about Atlantis's power. Plato's account may have survived only by chance, while countless other writings were lost in fires, like the burning of the Library of Alexandria. Others whisper of secret societies, keepers of Atlantean knowledge, who hid the truth to maintain control. The Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, even modern scientific elites are rumored to possess fragments of Atlantean wisdom concealed from the world. What if history is not just incomplete, but carefully edited? Atlantis may not have been lost by accident. It may have been buried, hidden from us on purpose.
Perhaps Atlantis was never meant to stay lost forever. Some believe its return is written in prophecy, that one day the oceans will give back the city and humanity will awaken to its forgotten past. Psychics like Edgar Cayce claimed Atlantis would rise again near the Bahamas, where strange underwater structures, the Bimini Road, still puzzle explorers. Others say the true return of Atlantis won't be physical, but spiritual. Humanity regaining the knowledge, unity, and higher consciousness the Atlanteans once held. The mystery of Atlantis is more than a story of a lost civilization. It is a mirror held up to us, a warning of the dangers of arrogance, but also a promise that our destiny may reach beyond the stars. Atlantis may be gone, but perhaps we are Atlantis. And the question is not if it will return, but when.
Legends tell us the Atlanteans harnessed a mysterious source of unlimited energy. Not coal, not oil, not even electricity as we know it, but massive crystals, cut with perfect precision, humming with power. These crystals were said to transmit energy wirelessly, lighting entire cities, fueling vehicles, and even opening portals. Some researchers claim this knowledge was hinted at in Plato's description of glowing temples and radiant towers. When Atlantis fell, these crystals may have shattered, their energy destabilizing the island and contributing to its destruction. Others believe they survived, lying silent beneath the ocean floor, still pulsing with energy, waiting to be rediscovered. Strange reports of glowing anomalies in the Bermuda Triangle have been linked to these very crystals, suggesting Atlantis may not only have sunk, but that its technology still affects our world today.
Could Atlantis still exist, frozen beneath miles of ice? Some researchers believe that after a sudden pole shift, the once tropical lands of Atlantis were dragged to the South Pole, entombed beneath Antarctica. Declassified Navy maps and leaked satellite images reveal strange geometric patterns under the ice, shapes far too perfect to be natural. Pyramids, Domes and massive walls appear to lie hidden in the frozen continent, shielded from human eyes. Whistleblowers claim secret expeditions, including Operation High Jump in the 1940s, were not just about exploration, but about investigating these ruins. And some say what they found changed everything. Advanced technology, frozen bodies, and evidence of a civilization far older than Egypt or Sumer. If true, Antarctica may not be a barren wasteland, but the icy grave of Atlantis itself.
Some say the fall of Atlantis was not the end, but the beginning of a great concealment. Before the cataclysm struck, the Atlanteans are believed to have hidden their most sacred knowledge in underground vaults, sealed chambers designed to outlast time itself. Whispers claim one such vault lies beneath the Great Sphinx of Giza, a so-called Hall of Records that contains maps of lost worlds, crystal tablets of forgotten science, and prophecies of humanity's future. Others point to the Himalayas, the Andes, and even North America, where native legends speak of glowing caves guarded by spirits of the deep. These vaults, if they exist, may still hold technology and wisdom so advanced it could transform civilization overnight or destroy it if misused. Is it possible that the true treasure of Atlantis was never gold or jewels, but the secret knowledge waiting in these hidden chambers, buried right beneath our feet?
Atlantis was not only a land of wisdom, it may have also been a land of dangerous ambition. Ancient myths across the world speak of half-human, half-animal beings, centaurs, minotaurs, mermaids. What if these were not just stories, but echoes of Atlantean experiments in genetic engineering? Some traditions describe Atlanteans merging their DNA with animals, seeking to create stronger workers, guardians, or even spiritual hybrids capable of reaching higher planes of existence. But this manipulation may have gone too far, giving rise to creatures that became unstable, violent, or uncontrollable. According to legend, the gods punished Atlantis not only for arrogance, but for tampering with the very code of life itself. These failed creations may be why myths of monsters haunt so many cultures, from Greek labyrinths to the depths of the ocean. Was the fall of Atlantis not only a natural disaster, but also the collapse of a civilization that played God?
Some researchers believe the Atlanteans' greatest discovery was not energy, not architecture, but time itself. According to esoteric traditions, they mastered the art of bending reality, opening portals into parallel dimensions, and traveling across timelines. Strange myths tell of doors to other worlds hidden inside temples where chosen priests could step outside of time and return with visions of the future. If this is true, the fall of Atlantis may not have been an ending. Perhaps some Atlanteans escaped, not by ship, not by fleeing across the seas, but by stepping into another reality entirely. Could they still be out there, watching us from a different timeline, waiting for the right moment to return? This would explain why traces of Atlantis appear in so many cultures across different ages, as if its people were moving in and out of history itself. Maybe Atlantis never vanished. Maybe it slipped out of time.
What if Atlantis never truly died? Some divers and naval officers have reported strange lights deep under the ocean, glowing cities that should not exist. Sonar scans sometimes reveal massive, perfectly shaped structures on the seabed, only to vanish when investigated more closely, as if cloaked by some unseen force. There are even whispers from classified naval missions that submarines have encountered vast domes of light with shadowy figures moving inside,
figures that don't match anything known on Earth. Could the Atlanteans have survived, not as myths, but as a hidden civilization beneath the waves? Protected by advanced technology, they may still walk the halls of their sunken cities, watching us, waiting until humanity is ready, or until we stumble upon their world. Perhaps Atlantis was never lost. Perhaps it has been here all along, just out of reach.
Across the world, myths describe weapons so powerful they could level cities, split mountains, and summon fire from the sky. The thunderbolts of Zeus, the flaming chariots of the Vedas, the death rays of forgotten gods. But what if these were not divine miracles, but the technology of Atlantis? Esoteric texts whisper that the Atlanteans developed energy weapons powered by their massive crystals, devices capable of emitting concentrated beams of light, disrupting weather, and even shifting the Earth itself. Some say these weapons were used in wars between rival Atlantean factions, tearing the empire apart from within. Perhaps the very cataclysm that destroyed Atlantis was not a natural disaster at all, but the final detonation of their own weapons, a self-inflicted apocalypse. Were the gods of myth simply Atlantean scientists, wielding power so great it appeared divine to those who survived?
Scattered across the world stand monuments that defy explanation. Stonehenge in England, the Great Pyramids of Egypt, the Nazca Lines of Peru, the megaliths of Easter Island. Though oceans apart, these sites share something remarkable. They align with stars, solstices, and even with each other on a global scale. Could this be coincidence? Or were they once connected, part of a vast energy grid designed by the Atlanteans? Some researchers suggest Atlantis was the central hub of this worldwide network, its crystal towers channeling energy across ley lines to distant outposts. These sites may have functioned like nodes in a forgotten system, transmitting power, knowledge, even communication across the Earth. When Atlantis fell, the network collapsed, leaving only fragments, mysterious ruins scattered like breadcrumbs for us to follow. Perhaps the great monuments we marvel at today are not isolated wonders, but echoes of a single lost civilization once united under Atlantis.
When Atlantis sank, not everything was lost beneath the sea. Some say its people, especially the ruling class, escaped and carried their secrets into the future. Legends of god kings arriving from across the ocean appear in countless cultures. In Egypt, the first pharaohs claimed descent from divine ancestors. In Mesopotamia, priest kings were said to possess knowledge from before the flood. Even in Europe, whispers of royal families with mysterious origins suggest a hidden inheritance. Could these rulers have been descendants of Atlantis, guardians of bloodlines carrying fragments of forgotten wisdom? Secret societies are rumored to trace their origins back to these survivors, preserving Atlantean symbols, rituals, and knowledge in secret. If true, then Atlantis never truly died. It lives on in the veins of those who still walk among us, shaping history from the shadows.
Every culture speaks of a time when humanity lived in harmony with the universe, an age of wisdom, peace, and higher consciousness. The Greeks called it the Golden Age. The Hindus named it Satya Yuga, and some believe it was Atlantis itself. The fall of Atlantis was not just the end of a civilization, but the end of that golden era. Yet many prophecies say this age will return when humanity is ready to rise once again.
Psychics like Edgar Cayce claimed Atlantis would re-emerge, first through the rediscovery of its knowledge, then perhaps even its physical ruins rising from the sea. Others say the true return of Atlantis is spiritual, that we are slowly awakening the same powers of mind, energy, and creation that the Atlanteans once held. Perhaps Atlantis was never meant to be lost forever. Perhaps it was a cycle, a story written into time itself. And when the Golden Age dawns once more, Atlantis will live again through us.